This is the establishment. Now to see if Isaac Porter is as habitual as Fran claims. Do you think Father was close with this man? This man who you've never met? I think he was close with him, yeah. At some point. I had some help making that deduction. Fran saw that their metadata showed a significant cooling of interaction between the two of them, particularly over the past month. But Fran also saw a phone call between the two last night. So they were close. Do you think they were sleeping together? That is completely inappropriate for me or anyone to speculate about. Inappropriate? Adonai, it's only I'm getting a very important text message from my private investigator. Excuse me. Did you catch the killer yet? No. The hell I sent you his position. I'm at his position. I haven't spoken to Porter yet. Anyway, there's no reason to suspect him right now. Lame. Surprised you're invested all of a sudden. Isn't David Osher a corporate sellout in your eyes? Everyone's a corporate sellout, but Osher gets respect. I'm a demolitions expert. He's like a really good architect. That's almost sweet, I think. Osher started out working in Cube, so in the architect analogy, by today's standards, he's like, I don't know, as a kid he built all his bricks by hand, or something. You know that lit homework can help you with forming analogies. Eat this analogy. Did that come through or did the characters break? It's supposed to be a guy giving you the finger. I take a cube as a programming language. What's special about it? You know, anything coded in the last 20 years is web-based. You code with the assumption that you'll always be connected. So you can depend on having fat libraries of references to lean on. And if something does go wrong, your errors get reported to you automatically. But on a cube, you can look it up. But basically, a cube was originally for robotics and like machinery. Stuff that had to operate in mines, under the ocean, middle of nowhere fields with zero signal service. So the cube had to be self-sufficient. Oh, rugged. Where'd Osher learn cube anyway? It's older than dirt. Like the 40s. I don't know. I think his father had a machine shop or something. Vague. Yeah, well, David didn't like to talk about his family. And I never asked. What did your private investigator have to say, Adonai? Not telling. What kind of reading material gets left out in a club? Tabloid interview? Well, however old she is or isn't, Fluctuary's got one hell of a mind for business. It might do her more good than that face in the end. Maybe. It's one hell of a face. In the meantime, she's... summarized, they're too meteoric for even the Megs to grab the reins on. At this point, Luxury's got them at her mercy. She can send their stocks into disarray with one selfie. Good for her. A bar, stocked full of colorful selections and busy bartenders. Hope this isn't the kind of club you can order food in. Only time bar food is any good is when you're drunk enough to forget the taste and the gap between chewing and swallowing. So you can, like, eat things? Yes, I can. What, like android food? There is no such product. So what do androids eat? Online user guides for Noble Warren models clarify that they don't eat anything in the traditional sense. They get their energy from electrical charging, usually wireless. Whenever they need to eat, it's to replenish specific vitamins and electrolytes. It's like a lot like what mod users go through with their sports drinks and energy bars, and charge or separation anxiety. According to the net, Worm androids can ingest nutrient-rich processed carbohydrate pellets if they need to forego electrical charging long-term. Processed pellets? You mean like kibble? Like dog food? No, it is not like dog food at all. Can you buy it from the pet store? It seems that you can. How is this something you have to look up anyway? Because I've always just eaten whatever father gave me. Like what? Marbled beef? Never hydroponic avocados? Foie gras? That sort of thing. I am not paying for any of that. The stage for the talent, pretty close to the floor, because it fits with the whole round table aspect of this place. Everyone's on more or less equal footing, dancing in the dark, once you get past the bouncer. Do you think they might have met here? David and Porter? I can't see David walking in here. Because you found the walk so challenging? Because it's too loud to relax. Not dark enough to be anonymous. I see. What's that face? You got an opinion to share? The atmosphere's not bad in here, but the music isn't quite... I'll find you a survey to fill out before we leave. What kind of music is an android even like? Early 21st century punk rock. Is that just you, or does that go for all androids? I haven't met all androids. I can't speak for them. Wonder what they'd say. If they're smart, they'd say that music peaked with early 21st century punk rock. Debate settled. Okay, yeah, that's him alright. Looks like he's killing time before his sets tonight. Are you unsure how to proceed, Adonai? I'm sure that you need to hang back. As for me, Isaac Porter? What's up? My name's Morgan. I was David's friend. Right now I'm his lawyer. Can we talk? Depends. Are you a friend from work? No. Over here. Thanks, Isaac. Don't thank me yet. I might just sit here, shut my mouth, and stick you with my tab. So what kind of lawyer are you? What kind of friend? I'm his defense attorney. Think you missed the bus on that then, yeah? And I'm a friend that needs to know what happened yesterday. Doesn't everyone? Try somewhere else, friendly lawyer. I haven't seen him in weeks. You might not have seen him, but we both know that you spoke with him over the phone yesterday. Only a short time before he died. How the hell? Isaac? It's pretty obvious that you don't want this particular spotlight to linger on you any longer than necessary, so why don't we cut to the chase? No lies, no playing coy. Fine. Sarah? Yes, Adonai? The hell? Was that thing transmitting? I am not streaming any data, no. Porter doesn't seem to recognize Sarah either. One more person David was keeping secrets from. I need to record everything for the court. Fine. You two were together, is that correct? We were together. I ended it yesterday. Care to elaborate? On our entire relationship? Look, you can tell me everything once and I can get it on the record. Or you can hear the same questions over and over again from 1,000 different cops and medics for the next 3 months. We met in a bar. I'd seen him come in a few times. Each time with someone else. Each time talking with his mouth but not looking with his eyes. Ticked me off. Scribbling on napkins and letting a single gin and tonic sweat on the table for 2 hours. States would all go to the bathroom or take a call and flip out the back. One of them didn't make it 10 minutes. And he'd still sit there the rest of the night unfazed. Couldn't tell if he was oblivious or stupid or shameless or the most confident man in the world. He ticked me off. One night things were slow and my set had been cancelled and his date hadn't even bothered to think of an excuse before bailing, so I asked him why he'd cut there night after night just to ignore vapid people he wasn't interested in and a shitty bar with drinks he didn't like. And he just said, because I like your music. And that ticked me off. It was cute early on. And being so passionate about work I could barely pretend to understand. And I liked that we gave each other space, you know? Felt like we were being mature or whatever. Until? There was no until. No one day where everything turned sour. At some point, I started to understand where his priorities were, and how I ranked in them. Like I said, he was passionate about his work. I just wrongly assumed that he would also be that passionate about me at some point. So I pulled away a little, wanted to see if he'd notice, if he'd miss me. Testing him like that isn't the biggest red flag in the world. He never budged. I could ignore him for days and he wouldn't be the least bit ashamed to see me. If I picked a fight, he'd never get angry or upset, just apologize. He didn't want to fight with me. Guess he was never invested enough to bother. It was my mistake. I watched him sit there all those nights not giving a shit when people walked away, and still I had this stupid idea that somehow, for whatever reason, I would be different. That I would be special. But I wasn't. So I ended it. Last night, I called him. Didn't expect he'd pick up. I had everything prepared to leave a message with an assistant or an ad or whatever. But he answered. First ring. Without hesitation, shame, or awkwardness. That ticked me off. So I told him exactly how valued he had made me feel the past few months. I told him exactly how insignificant I felt as the boyfriend of the illustrious Dr. David Osher. What did he say? He apologized. And then he asked me if that was all I called to tell him. Woof. I hung up after that. Spent the rest of the night wrapped in warm disdain for him and his coldness. He had made that easy for me. I went to sleep hurt but clean, ready for something new. And then this morning I wake up to see that my ex killed himself not 2 hours after he let me walk out of his life without so much as a don't. What the hell, man? What the hell, David? And now you're just the tip of an iceberg of lawyers and reporters and buzzards. Parasites who want to hear about the man who sent David Osher over the edge. I never wanted to be his last lifeline or the straw that broke his back. I just wanted to be his goddamn boyfriend. Turns out that was asking for too much. It's yet to be determined whether David committed suicide. You serious? You don't have all the facts. And you do. Any one of them point to anything else? Thought so. Thanks for your time. I'll let you get back to it. That's it, no summons. The court has no need for you to retell a sad story like that. The court, huh? Sorry to bother you at work. Sarah, let's go. Your discography is very impressive. Yeah, thanks. And your range is remarkable. So it pained me to see that all your works in the last quarter have been so melancholy. I think... Well, what the hell would you know about any of that? What's the matter? Can't find the words? Need to steal them from somewhere else and butcher them before shitting them back out? I was not trained on the new data sets that... pardon me, my mistake, really. It's not your fault, you're only standing here because rich prick nerds are out to rob the world blind for most of this century. Sarah, we're leaving. What the hell is that about? He was under the false impression that I was programmed using a massive automated learning model in early 21st century. Not that. Why'd you talk to him? I just felt that I should say something to him. A word of advice. People don't want comfort from strangers, especially when they're androids. They want it from the people they want it from. Coming from anywhere else, it's just corn syrup on a parched tongue. Doesn't matter how sweet it is, they'll just start gagging. You know a lot about people, don't you, Adonai? Compared to you, I'm a goddamn savant. Come on, there's not much time left. Is there still somewhere you want to investigate? Somewhere I need to return to, actually. Porter was right. As things stand, I don't have any evidence that could establish an alternative interpretation of the facts. But if there did exist hard evidence that could prove his death wasn't a suicide, there's only one place I could find it at this point. basement. You sure you don't want another look at the crime scene? I'm all out of time. Gotta approach this from the other angle. The other angle? You know, inductive versus deductive, flip the chessboard and all that. Haven't you ever read a mystery novel? I've seen mystery films. Let's see if you paid any attention then. What killed David Osher? Poison. 10 points. There's a point system? Now how did that poison get into his bloodstream? He must have ingested it orally. And how do we know that? The medical examiner found no injection marks or wounds. And if he had inhaled it? Inhaled it? Why? Leave the whys to someone who actually understands them. I won't be able to understand anything if I don't practice. Practice by answering my question. I suppose it's possible, but highly unlikely. We would have found a delivery system for it in the building, like an inhaler. Right. In airborne poison, that was either shoved in your face or sprayed over a wide area, and no one around David has shown any kind of symptoms. So all we're left with is oral intake. Eliminating the impossible. What's next, Adonai? Young's corroborated statement was that David didn't exhibit any irregular symptoms or behavior until he started drinking that night. And the police didn't find anything unusual in any of the food or drink in his home. Except for his cup, the results were inconclusive. Young was drinking from the same bottle and the same type of cup, but didn't get sick. We have to conclude, then, that David's cup alone was poisoned. That all seems logical, and consistent with the police's theory of suicide. So why are we down here? Minus 10 points. Back to 0? David left the parlor and came back with whiskey and 2 cups. Young told us as much, and apparently the cameras upstairs support her story. So we have to conclude then that he got them both from this bar? Better, 5 points. Did he also get the poison from the cabinet? The police have been in here since we left. According to their ARCS file, they didn't find anything that matched the poison down here. So the poison somehow went straight into his drinking cup then. I need to flip this around again. But if you turn something 360 degrees, you're just back to... If I were the prosecution, what would I want more than anything? Proof that David knowingly added the poison himself. You wouldn't do that. And you can make that claim because there's no video evidence to contradict you. How long was David off camera? From 7:36 p.m. to 7:40 p.m., when he left the parlor to get liquor from this bar. So if we had David on camera for those 4 minutes and he didn't poison himself in that time, he would have a perfect alibi for the crime, proving his innocence. But Adonai, we don't have footage of that. There are no security cameras down here. I think there are. What do you mean? This whole building is coated head to toe in penumbra security systems, courtesy of Noble. Every console, every corner, every android, and every floor is all plugged into penumbra. Except that. That panel is manufactured by Cotter Security Systems. Why would David put a console for a different security system in exactly one corner of his penthouse? I've never given it much thought. Well, it's been bothering me all day. But my curiosity alone can't scale a 64-digit wall. You mean signal hijacking, or whatever you want to call it. Have you tried it before? It is illegal and unnecessary. Father would not... He would not have installed hidden cameras in his own home. At the end of the day, I can't make you do anything. Well, actually, I probably can now that you're registered to me. But aren't you the one who wanted to prove his innocence? Eliminate the impossible. I will need your express verbal command. Not like David can press charges against us at this point. Do it. Did you really need me to say that? For the purposes of record keeping, yes. I've gotten past the 64-digit code, and I have found cameras. There are a number of them embedded in the room's walls and ceilings. As you theorized, they are on a separate network from the rest of the building. Where are they feeding to, if not the penumbra system? Behind my hibernation unit. A false wall in the back of a safe. I don't understand. How would Father possibly have a hidden system of cameras inside his own home? Beats me. He was brilliant and more than a little odd. Throwing a little money and odd becomes eccentric. I see, I think. I don't. What the hell was he thinking? What was he afraid of? Why didn't he come to me for... Time short. Gather facts now and leave the computation for later. So is that the original? It was appraised and confirmed to be genuine. At least it didn't get ripped off. I'm a Philistine when it comes to this kind of stuff. What does an android see? I see a meaning. Or perhaps an encounter? Two apex forces of nature, two kings of the forest, the stag and the tiger, I think. Great. I'm officially less cultured than the robot. What's the story with this anyway? Some kind of fault in the foundation? I don't know. I've never noticed that crack before. Might want to get those eyes checked. There's nothing wrong with my vision. This crack just must have been created during my most recent hibernation. How? Did David drop a weight? A bunch of times over and over in the same spot? What did David even do with all this equipment? Dry his laundry? What makes you so sure he wasn't exercising? Did you ever see him use any of this crap? No, but he must have used the weights when I wasn't looking, since he promised me that he'd take better care of his health. Sir, these weights are all maxed out. David couldn't have put up numbers like this even if he was piloting a frame. Don't be so sure, Adonai. Pardon? The following is a true story, based on primary sources who were present for the event and its aftermath. Copenhagen, 1981, 8:10 a.m. local time. A towering man with the musculature of a world-class professional rugby player enters the Global Donkey Bank on Fredericksburg Lane. He explains to the bank teller that he has a bomb in his suitcase, and that he wants his gym bag filled with unmarked bills. A security guard approaches him from behind with a nightstick and swings. The man simply catches the weapon and bends it into a twisted knot with his massive, dinner plate-sized hands. When asked to describe the suspect to the police afterwards, the teller had only this to say: that man was all muscle. The rest of the bank heist proceeds without incident, and the man exits the building just as the police arrive on the scene, when suddenly, his suitcase explodes. But it's just a smokescreen. Local officers quickly recognize the ploy and rush towards the door, grabbing each of the hostages as they flee while desperately searching for the perpetrator. What they find instead is a diminutive, frail, sheepish young man, barely 160 centimeters tall, holding a gym bag full of money, with no recollection of how he got there. Renowned psychologist and trained hypnotist Dr. Werner Kurtzer wrote the following his diagnosis: acute dissociative identity disorder. That's right, the man had a split personality, and so great was the disparity between his two halves that when they switched control, he physically changed, becoming taller, bulkier, and capable of previously unthinkable feats of strength. So be careful what you say a man like Father can't do, just because of how he looks on the outside. Sarah, every single word you just said was false. Huh? Don't believe everything you read on the net. The liquor cabinet this mystery hinges on. The police have been through it all by now, and they didn't find foreign contents in any of the spirits. No poison to be found here. Well, not that kind of poison anyway. In which case, can I make you anything? Well, if you're offering, I'll have... Sorry, you're way underage, aren't you? 2 years old or whatever. Technically. That went a lot worse than I expected. Cheer up. Maybe you'll find a mocktail if you climb to the top of the ladder. This is a rolling ladder, a kind of step ladder, not a ladder. What? Remember, a ladder extends, but a step ladder folds out. And it's important to know the distinction. I bet my life savings that the subject will never come up again, ever. Alright, let's refocus here. So there's some kind of hidden door behind your bunk bed? Essentially, though a bunk bed would imply a second or third. How do I open it? One moment. I see. Got it open already? I cannot open this door. Why? It is a Tethys Basics Certicure. That anti-hack feature in the name is real. It's a closed system, Adonai. How am I supposed to do now? Strange. There was an if-then toggle enabled in the security parameters. I don't follow. When Father last adjusted the settings here, he made it so that the door would never open so long as I was hibernating. And he made it so that I was the only one who could wake her up. Meaning this is a door that only I can open? It'll be a 6-character password, some combination of numbers or letters. Did you and Father have any influential moments in your life that revolved around a 6-letter word? Nothing comes to mind. Is there a code word that he knew only I could learn? It's opening. What was the password? Adonai? You'd never guess. Did feel a bit out of character, David utilizing so much cloak and dagger tech. And I've definitely been struggling with the idea of him doing home improvement. But one step in here and it all makes sense. It's a panic room. Scary. A panic room is a place for rich people to hide in when people start bouncing bricks off their windows. They're typically not even on the blueprints. So when Noble built this penthouse for one of their executives, someone slipped this into the mix, and it's remained in Noble's blind spot ever since. All David had to do was repurpose it. Make sure you're capturing all of this. I don't want to miss my one chance because of a discovery technicality. I understand, but you needn't specify. My memory is flawless. I can play back visuals, sounds, sensations. I can even give detailed reports on air particulates. You mean you can smell? Better than any human, and some canines. So does it smell stale in here to you? Stale? It doesn't to me. Almost like someone's been in here recently. Almost like someone visits here frequently. Alright, let's try booting up the computer. You don't think the console is password protected? 2 physical doors, a 64-digit code, a half-ton Android, and a secret phrase. If David said a password on his PC after all that, I'm going back to the morgue to have a word with him. Good, it's already signed in. You're looking for camera footage? I'd also settle for a note plainly stating that he feared for his life. What am I doing? Here, you search for video files. I'll probably be timestamped and formatted for short-range devices. I have the subfolder. The cameras stream live data constantly, but the files are clipped at fairly regular intervals. Once every week, it seems. The most recent video file here has footage going back 8 days. It was accessed yesterday at around 4 p.m. You were asleep then, so the only person who could get in here at that time is David himself. Alright, let's see it then. Of course, it's just that I am having difficulty. Try double-clicking. I have been trying to open the files from the moment I discovered them, Adonai, but they are encrypted. Damn it, David. You leave me enough clues to get this far, but you won't let me use your computer? What's the brand on the encryption program? Parasha subpoena they might have a backdoor I could bluff them into. These files are not encrypted with any commercially available tool. This appears to have been Father's own work. Shit. David Osher handled the encryption on these files, no one alive who could. Hey, was Knox just flattering you back there? Or is your processing power really that special? Adonai, can you break his encryption, yes or no? With enough time? And how much time would that be? I would estimate it at 2 to 6 hours. It's a 4-hour window. No matter how sophisticated, encryption is still just a code that must be deciphered. When deciphering any code, progress proceeds exponentially, which makes it particularly difficult to determine the amount of time required to complete the process. 2 to 6 hours. I don't have any better options. Get started. I started 4 minutes and 23 seconds ago. Finally showing some initiative. But you've been talking to me this whole time. I have the ability to analyze data in parallel by utilizing subconscious processes, so long as the work required is rote. So you're doing it in the back of your head? Actually, I'm speaking to you in the back of my head. I could give the decryption process my full, undivided attention, but I would become non-responsive. Hey, that's a pretty nifty feature. I'll have to keep that in mind. Alright, can you take the show on the road, or do we have to rip this computer out of the wall and find a battery? I have copied the encrypted files and will work on them as we travel. We can leave whenever you're ready. Still can't believe David let me get this far just to shut my face at the last second. But he did let me get this far. And the computer's not the only thing in here. The cabinets are a lot less eye-catching than his computer, but knowing David, it's all the more reason to check. Lots of paperwork, bonds and holdings, a platinum bar. His birth certificate might be nearly as valuable. Can't imagine what people would pay to steal David Osh's identity. And down here at the bottom, a binder. Noble's logo on the front and the middle, enough pages to dwarf one of those phone books you see in period pieces. They're masking it in legalese even on the table of contents, but basically, this is his employment contract. Hold on to this for me. It must be very important if you're giving it to me. It's certainly very heavy. Was there anything else in there? Expecting an updated copy of his will to show up? It is a possibility, isn't it? Maybe in a corny old murder mystery. Widely beloved and respected genre with over 2 centuries of... There is something else. Your papers. That Evangeline Morgan be given immediate and complete ownership of the android-designated Sarah, stated to a few weeks back that he already made up his mind about all of this. If he had, why'd he hide this when no one could find it? Was I just a backup plan? Well, at least we've got something a bit more concrete than Starling's word now. A word should be plenty, shouldn't it? Not if people realize how precious you are. As a collector's item, you've yet to meet one person who's what the hell you are. But Noble could have easily argued that you fall under private technology or physical holdings. Unless I had something like this. It's good that you do, then. I'm glad that Father wanted me to go with a friend of his. Yeah. This will get me a huge tax write-off when I donate you to a for-profit college. You could at least pick a charitable institution. Hey, it's just an old saying. All colleges have been for-profit since the 60s. It doesn't make me feel any better. You can cheer up in the car. Tell us to ride to the courtroom. Priority. There is an upcharge at this hour for priority transportation. That's irritating. But I'd like to have more than just a few minutes to prepare once we get there. The upcharge is a multiplier of 5.7. Prepare on the way over. Very good, Adonai.